liberty. Yeah. Mhm. A victim shall be free to choose a legal representative. Yeah. Mhm. Where there are a number of victims, myself, yes, my 5 sons, Marilyn and her kids, yes, numerous other individuals that have witnessed this crime against humanity. Mhm. We are free to choose our own legal representative. Yep. Now, it makes it difficult for me to get an attorney, yes, when I don't have a cell phone. I don't have an address, yes. I don't have anybody enforcing my actual rights as a citizen, yes. No one is willing to prosecute any person involved in this hate crime and conspiracy, yes, because the sheriffs have been bribed, the police department. I'm going to want to choose legal representation. Now, that involves me living with my sons, yes, and being able to speak to Marilyn and her kids about why Mike Van Proyn has been receiving my court notices for the last 8 years, yes, and then why people have been paying police officers, yes, to fabricate evidence, yes, falsely accuse innocent American citizens, and then fraudulently coerce mental health evaluations from the state of Washington. Well, Supreme Court justices of the state of Washington. Yesterday I looked at your court directory. Yeah. What could possibly cause this state to refuse to arrest those that commit crimes? Um, I was really very, very serious about living with my family. Yes. Now, I did want to mention that there's a tremendous resource that I myself downloaded. Yes. The Electronic Resource Guide, often called the ERG, yes, has been published online by the American Society of International Law since 1997. Yes. Could you get me all the members of the American Society of International Law? Yes. As well as the employees of the various law firms? Yes. Now, this is a free online database that organizes and provides links to, yes, useful information on web resources from the full spectrum of international law. Now, I think this is really good because it goes through, yes, it does, research guides, books, and information networks, treaties, conventions, and agreements. Do you see those there? Yes. You know, for the state and federal employees that don't feel an obligation to expose waste, fraud, mismanagement, abuse, and corruption, it's quite possibly that you'll be named. I mean, I could name all 50 states. Now, there are courts, tribunals, and other adjudicatory bodies known as the International Court of Justice, yes, the International Criminal Court, criminal tribunals, regional courts, and national courts. I'd just like to know all the employees of those for the last, 50 years. Yeah, since World War II. Yeah. And then the GPS location of them. Now, we had this tour experience yesterday, and I think we should revisit it for just a minute because I did keep the actual, the magazine here. Is there the possibility, as remote as it might sound, isn't that right, Soros? That if I had a biochip in me, yes, that was connected to an IP address, right, that was on the 5G network, no, and I went through the tour, that you could take my brains every day and put it on a supercomputer in Israel. No. Well, let's say these biochips. You can get them from veterinarian locations, yes. Why don't we look at all the biochips that are manufactured in the United States that you could put a chip in your dog? Yes. You could go to the vet, and if you had a chip reader, you would know the medical history of the actual the animal. Yeah. Now, if it connects to one of these medical readers, Kaiser Illuminati, Kaiser Permanati, if it connects to one of these medical readers, yes, 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 and you have to be in close proximity of the individual, I know Joe Biden's remembering what he asked John Roberts when John Roberts was sworn in as the Supreme Court Justice of the United States, that it would be the Supreme Court's job to decide, yeah, are we legally able to put a FDA implantable device in each and every American citizen? Now, probably at the time of the question, never thought that there would be counterfeited FDA implantable devices from southeastern countries, those that are rogue nations. Yes. Now, you know, why don't we look at the actual oaths of those that I'm going to have to get an atlas, but could you call South Korea? And could you call Vietnam, Laos? Yes, yes, yes. Indonesia? Now, China's really not Southeast Asia. China's one of the larger nations, and I know they're not involved in the manufacturing of biochips so that you could just connect it to an IP address that you would, well, really be able to pull the brains out of an individual and you could put them on a supercomputer through the Tor network in Israel. Just work through the smaller nations. I'll get one of these atlases. See, the thought was on Guam. Yes, 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 since they're virtually and perceptibly undetectable when going through customs. Yes, yes. I mean, how many individuals would have a cavity search and you would think they wouldn't have drugs in there? But I just wanted to know, of all the South Asian, yes, the smaller nations, I'll tell you about them in just a second. Has anybody been manufacturing these very similar biochips that we were going to have implanted in the citizens because of the Healthcare Act? You remember that? Yeah. And everybody thought, well, John Roberts and the Supreme Court justices of the United States would never believe that another nation, yes, would intentionally develop a rice-sized transmitter, yes, that is connectable to a chip reader, yes, very similar to what the medical establishment has, that actually is on a different frequency that connects to the internet, yes, that had the availability of taking your brains and putting it on a supercomputer in Israel because of the use of the Tor network. Nobody ever fucking thought of that!